Action Pets Gaming. Chill vibes tonight. Chill vibes tonight. Laid back life. Laid back. No stress, no fight. No stress, no fight. Throwing parts together. Throwing parts. Crafting all night. Get ready to build. Get ready to build. Let's make it right. Let's make it right. Gonna make it right. Let's make it right. Let's make it right. Gonna make it right. Get ready to build. Let's make it right. Let's make it right. Let's make it right. Gonna make it right. Chill vibes tonight. Chill vibes tonight. Laid back life. No stress, no fight. No stress, no fight. Throwing parts together. Crafting all night. To build. Let's make it right. Let's make it right. Gonna make it right.
All right, having some Sunday morning, still trying to wake up difficulties. It is Sunday morning for me, at least. I know some of you are still out there in the past, and some are even in the present on this October the 5th, 2025, and I got about 10 a.m. At least from where I'm sitting, and I did that all backwards, so I know some of you are still sitting there in the past, and some are even in the future. But whatever present you happen to be in as you're watching this, I hope it's going good. All right, so let's get into some of this here, huh? All right, let's see if we got anybody in the chat yet. It's early. We've got Lee Smith. Welcome, welcome. Gamma Wolf. Yes, the Cramp glitch. MSG. the man, the myth, the moderator, the legend, the Mad Scottish Cat. Welcome, welcome. Gary 420, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. Zillion Rays, what's going on? Good morning, travelers. And that's that. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's get on with this. The Cramp glitch. Well, the Cramp glitch is basically a 3-finger glitch that allows you to transfer a base part, like a terrain part, immediately to the Corvette without having to do a move. I know there's a hard transfer already. This one's a little different. Where, you know, there's some soft transfer, hard transfer stuff. This also allows you to blender glitch directly to the Corvette, and you can cash pin glitch directly to the Corvette. So there are some conditions. It is a tricky glitch. It is not for beginners. You know, unless you are comfortable with glitching, this one might frustrate you a little bit. Wharfy, welcome, welcome. Need a tissue. Can you chilly outside or just outside? Maybe. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to add a button. No, I can't. Put that one over there. Yeah, so it is a 3. Does require a finger and 2 thumbs. Kind of. Okay. I don't know how my camera's going to catch this. It's not really, is it? But you'd be on the. Yeah, that's okay. Hold on. How can I get you? Doesn't like to view the controller here. Okay. Han Solo, welcome. All right, that's a little weird. All right, so it's going to be, if you're on controller, which I am, and if you're on PC, I'm sorry, I don't know the controls. So if you're on an Xbox or PlayStation, you know, it's be your wire, your triangle, a triangle or Y, and your right trigger. Whereas I like to say the top of the thumb, left of the thumb, right of the thumb, bottom of the thumb. This would be top of the thumb and your build, along with bringing your thumb over the top to get that switch base computer. Alright. It's background removal, Zillion. And I apologize for what I'm about to do, but I gotta do it. Hey, Katrine Raid, welcome, Katrine. So that's kind of the, you know, the grip you need to take on this. But your ship can be in the way, and I will demonstrate shortly. Dusty giving out those memberships. Thank you so much. Oliver G received a membership. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. I need to make that larger. It's a little too small. And the sound is a little bit on the low side. Okay. At least for me. Katrine, welcome. Yeah, I know. I was saying I can't get it to, you know, to show properly. As soon as I bring the controller into view. All right, so it'd be your triangle, your start, and your trigger, right? So I do that, and then I bring my thumb over. So these are right here. However you can get these 3 buttons in whatever way you can do it. And if you can find an easier way, let me know. But so far this works. I know. The lighting too, you know, I don't have I have one light that helps. So yeah, that's sort of the button combo. And pop. So when you hear me say pop, it's like you're kind of doing like all sort of at the same time, but there's a little delay, and I believe the base computer or the start button, you know, switching the base computers. So you have to be set up. We'll get to all this in a minute. I know, but I'm trying to explain first before I start showing stuff, or at least get you warmed up for this. If you are a confident glitcher, go for this. If you are new, I would recommend practicing your beginning stuff for a bit, especially your wire transfer, you know, which would be your Y and build on an Xbox, or would be triangle and build on a PlayStation controller. And even though I'm playing on a PC, I don't know the controls because I use this. So yeah. What else? Use responsibly. If you're going to use freighter parts or anything else for that matter, any terrain building parts, you want to be considerate of other players. And also, you will probably crash once or twice. But I think part of the reason I've been crashing is I have some other mods on to change, you know, dark space and some other stuff. No build related anything, except for I can build past the limit, because come on, 100 parts just ain't cutting it. But I'm using a mod that limits that as well, you know, but it's just what we feel it should be. And it's a fair amount. It's under 300, and you can still build some really great stuff. And speaking of that, let's go and take a look at what we got going on over here.
All right.
We have my ship. Hey, Zesty, thank you for the $5 Canadian Super Chat donation. You think you'll give this one a miss, Gamma? Alright, so here's my ship. I've been working on it. Noodling away. Gary, yeah, I know the name on the chair is backwards, but if I flip it, then what happens is, the way I have my screen set up, I'm looking in the opposite direction, and it messes with my head. So yeah, that's why the name on the chair is backwards, and I don't care. I'm not getting sponsored. So I've added some lighting. I need to add a little more in some of the areas of the wing here if I can. So, back to this Cramp glitch, or masterclass glitch. Beeble was joking. He's like, it's like a masterclass glitch. Take you 5 years to learn it. So, while the ship was in place, and I had already built pretty much everything, I was like, I want a wall and a floor and a wall here, and a wall and a floor back here, and some stuff, right? Exactly, Zesty. So I was thinking about the transfer glitch and wire glitch and whatnot, and I'm like, I wonder if this would work. And after a couple tries, it did. The only issue is you cannot build within this floor panel space. But everything else outside of that seems like fair game. Excuse me. As you build out. Now, there is scaffolding involved. You will have to know how to, use some wire. And if I weren't an idiot, I would have remembered to post some links to Beeblebum's controlling wire and also his transfer glitch stuff, the soft and hard transfer, which is similar but different. And it's kind of fun. You can do some interesting stuff. I would not abuse it. You got to, be considerate of other players. And yourself, in terms of not crashing your game or whatever. But everything I've done so far, I've been able to fly around. Everything seems okay. Nothing crazy yet, but I haven't also gone crazy yet. We will. So, I wanted kind of an area where I could make my own sort of cockpit. And I was messing around with the idea. I've also, was messing around with angles at the same time, using a perfect circle method, using Beeble's placement to get the floor proper, and, then the standard, using, the wire with a hab window or, stairs and wire glitching that in. And then that allows you to do a bunch of other stuff, etc., etc., etc. So, let's get on with it. But first, you got to see how cool this is. And I got to get out of this viewpoint because it drives me nuts. The only thing about this ship that I don't like is I'd have to move the cockpit around in order to really see. And I just don't feel like doing it. I wasn't planning on doing it this way, but we ended up doing it this way, so whatever. But with the lighting, I highly recommend, getting some pill lights in your build, because it really does change the look. Yeah, and the bummer is I wasn't thinking also is that I can't get out. Like, so I can't get back in here because it only, when it's in space, it only opens part way. So I wasn't thinking about that. I forgot that, so I actually can't enjoy, unless somebody were to be, in that passenger area, while I was flying, and I don't get to enjoy it, So, but yeah, I want some more on the wings. But because we're, built certain things I can remove and replace, other things I cannot. So, I'd like to have the light go all the way out to the tips of the wings, which when it's flying, it does, and it works. So I'm sort of, in some ways, reluctant to try to figure out more, but, I think it's a pretty nice ship. Alright, let's get to this glitch. I know that's why you're here. But I gotta park. Yeah, Thank you. I sort of wish I mean, I like the tilt to the cockpit, especially when it's landing. I wish I could make some of these lights blink. And without the engines going, you know, it'd be nice to have a little bit without the engines roaring. But the free cookies. Cookies. And, you know, does have a nice aggressive vibe. I think it works pretty well. Alright, let's get out of here. Yes. And since most of these kaleidoscopes are ruined now, if anything happens to this save, I won't be heartbroken. I've already been heartbroken here. It won't happen twice. Alright, hey, look at that. We got a freighter room and a door. Now, as we saw with Beeble, when we showed him this glitch, the camera gets a little funky. But that's not too bad. So, if you don't like cramped Corvette rooms, you can use this. Yeah, I usually am in first person, correct. So you could basically build a freighter room and then line it with Corvette parts. We can also see where the Corvette parts start to enter in. And then you could use that as well on the interior. There's just a lot of planning and pre-planning for this glitch. You could make a circular floor and do, you know, a set of walls and, you know, do something with that. It's pretty crazy what is possible. So they are huge, and that's why, you know, all you would really need to do is set up a couple, right? You don't need a lot. And this center area here, you're not going to be able to do anything but halves or Corvette parts. Now you can bring something to connect these two things. And you could also, you know, potentially do the force glitch, the other force glitch style, I believe. But, you know, it still gives you some creative options. You know, if you wanted to, you know, add a couple of parts here and there, you know, or make a, you know, a command deck, and that you could decorate, and it, you know, it was more open, didn't feel as cramped. You know, yes, I get it. It would be nice if they could open up some of the rooms. You know what I mean? Hey, Marty, welcome. I would like to see that, you know, and some other things that we've all like to see. Again, to create this, it takes some effort. You should be proficient in your glitching, okay? So, the setup I've been using for this, and I'm actually going to delete this part here so I can do the other bits and pieces. The door we're going to keep. Oh, actually, we're going to have to start fresh. Never mind. But now that these are Corvette parts, in order to delete any of this, I actually, have to now come up here. So we're going to delete all of it. That way we can kind of concentrate on sort of the setup I have. You want to give yourself as much room as possible around your center point. I went a different height, and I can change all of this, but I'm not gonna. At least not on stream, because it would take a bit of time. But you got to think about your scaffold and where you want things and where things will go and where they won't go before you really need, before you really start using this. Because one, you really want to put a part such as a freighter room or walkway or platform, into this Corvette, because it is not an easy glitch. Once you've done it a few times, it becomes easier, like most glitching techniques. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. So my setup I've been using right now, because it is new and I actually had to work all week, so I discovered the glitch and had no time to really play with it except for last night. So you'd like to see me landing the freighter room into an abandoned space station. Okay, why is that? So anyway, back to the setup. So again, you want to give yourself as much room as possible, because the minute you go to transfer your glitch and you need to be in the wire, if you hit the Corvette before you get to the wire, it will switch your part back to the base computer. It will cancel out what you're trying to do. We'll get more into that as I start to demonstrate it. And then height is determined by what you're building. I wanted some room, to be able to move stuff about. And then, of course, you need to make sure everything is connected, right? So that's why I chose the antenna here, to kind of give myself some visual room and a little bit of room to move before I would run into the Corvette parts. So I could come in and miss, boom. But you have to be really careful again. Miss transferring from the part you're trying to put there. Oh, okay. And, the Corvette part of it. I'm always trying to look at until I get focused. I'm trying to keep up with chat. All right, let's get rolling. There's more setup to go. But your Corvette setup should look something like this. This depends on where you want the base of your, flooring or freighter room or platform or etc. Right? So that's what this determines. But and then your center point will get, where you want your center point, which preferably would be the center point of the Corvette area. So that way you know your limitations, and you can continue your setup and have a spot, to start from. All right, so Corvette should look something like that. We'll apply our edits, and then we'll get into first person view because it's better. And now we'll head down to our settlement that we have set up. Now, Julian, once again, welcome back. The only thing I'd be upset about, actually, if I lost would be this one here and possibly this one, although I could build it again. This one here would be difficult to build, and I could probably build something like it, but not an exact replica, but I could get close. And this is an older build, this is an older build. Alright, so we're going to go to our settlement, and now we'll look at the next part of the setup. Now this is a live stream, this is not a tutorial. I'm just introducing this glitch to anybody watching. I will make a proper tutorial at some point soon. So, so with that said, keep that in mind. We're live streaming. We're having fun. It's Sunday. If I flub it, it's because I'm still figuring out what I discovered. So, I was thinking about that, Gary. There's a problem to an extent, but I think, actually, you know what? Yeah, the only problem I could see with that, it'd be, because I would be building the frame with wire, so we could get away with it. I could use Blender once I get taught by, why am I forgetting this chap's name? Evolved Finch. Jeez Louise. Just hanging out with the homie last night in Zillion. I will be carving out some time to learn Blender soon. Alright. Anyway, so yeah, blah blah blah. Remember, I am live streaming here. This is a tutorial in progress and practice. This is for people who watch and who, you know, are into glitch building. You know, you get your sneak peek. Alright, so setup. Now this setup currently is for a combination of things. I can do floors, I can do whatever, but it is involving the wire, and currently I want to use a freighter room or freighter rooms, so I am set up on this side to use freighter rooms. Okay, so what I mean by that is, when doing freighter rooms normally, and this is a lot of work, this is why this glitch is kind of you know, you kind of want to need to do it. You kind of want to need to want to do it. You kind of want to need to want to do it. Do it. There's a lot of work involved. All right, so you need to have some space. You need to be able to move things around and blah blah blah. All right, so with standard cuboid rooms, if we're doing the cache pin glitch, which is a combination of the cache pin and the cramp glitch, I guess what we'll call it, so it's sort of the crampish the Krampus glitch, you know, so close to the holidays. The name is still in workshop. So here's center point, here's center point, and I believe this is another center point, and so on. So we're going to take this, and just before we get into the next glitch, we're going to do a standard, you know, we're editing our base computer, as you can see above my head. And I'm going to pop that in there, then we'll look and see where our bits are. So yeah, there. 1, 2, and 3, right? So, and then there's this here, which is where you run into problems. Okay, so you can't build here technically, but you can squeeze some stuff in here, which is really nice. I can actually put a part in here and put a part here. Okay, we'll get into that. Normally you have this blockage that you can't build anything in red states because of the Corvette build area and that negative bubble. I've managed with this technique to bring it in. And kind of, close up that negative space. Yeah, and the Goldfinch knows his blender stuff. I tell you what. Remember, live stream, not a tutorial. That will come out soon if people would like to have one. I will make it more. And please leave a comment if you want to see an actual tutorial where it breaks down a little more, precise. And not me just babbling and, being a Sunday and we're just waking up and, coffee and nip and all that other fun stuff. And me trying to bake off the work week and the pains. All right, so let's get back into it, right? So we got our freighter rooms, our cuboid room set up here. And you got to kind of know where you want to put your stuff, right? Ahead of time. So I want a freighter room right here. And then I want to be able to put a window, another window, a way to get in, a door. All right. And then be able to connect what I need to connect. So I'm kind of built the next section out. And to do all of this, I basically spaced out the cuboid rooms how I normally would. And then you can take that cuboid room, and you could even transfer these right now to your Corvette if you wanted to. But you take that cuboid room and you just do the wire, Beeble's kind of wire. Check out the Beeble's controlling the wire. And you just create your scaffold off of that, right? You just need to be careful that when you're connecting this, you don't hit the wire connector on the cuboid room. Messed me up a couple times. So now I know I can, branch off of this. All right. So, and then if you want to add a window or move, to the side of, whatever you're about to put in, which could be a corridor, could be, a hab, anything you can think of, basically. And, use those parts. You could add these things in here for a cool, a cool aesthetic to your ship. While these are large, you can still integrate it into your build. Any of this. Now, there are some caveats with it. We'll get into that afterwards. Things you don't want to use in your Corvette. This is a big no-no. Do not use this in your Corvette. You will regret it. No, 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 no. This I haven't tried. I hear you can, but like when you take off, the ship stays. So that's kind of a bummer, but still a neat idea for future stuff. Oh, there you go, seriousness. So yeah, you don't want to do that. And this is funky too, as well. And so is this. These only work, obviously, I think when... I wonder if this would be a good detector when flying around the planet if you had this on your Corvette. You could have it in space where you could see it. And then as you're flying around, if it started going off, you would be like, oh, there's an EM field. And you could land. I want to try that later. Remind me, somebody, please. I wonder if that would work. Or do you have to locate the field first before the animation starts? someone has an answer to that question, please let me know. Alright, so again, we're setting up, to do a freighter room thing here. Now, if you're going to do your freighter rooms, because of the way this technique works, and we'll start simple here, we'll start with a floor. Alright, I'm going to grab a salvage floor. I'm going to make sure I can switch between my base computers. I'm going to put it into wire mode. And now what I want to do is I want to bring my cursor up to that wire without touching or getting into the other base computer, the Flying Defender, okay? Because the minute I do, it switches over to the base computer, not what you were using. So you want to come back over, switch to your base computer, grab the part you want. Yeah, we'll start with the floor. Okay. Put it into wire mode like normal. Then bring this up so that it connects. Then you're going to basically take start wire. You're going to do a wire glitch while transferring base computer. Okay. It's the easiest way to explain it. So now you will miss this. Things will happen. It's not always immediate. Get used to that. But you'll know you did it when you got your piece to stick and then you look over and it says that you're now editing your Kuchu's Flying Defender or your Corvette. So now another way to know whether or not you've actually attached it, because when attaching the freighter door it's hard to tell. There's no way for you to see it, and when you do attach it, it doesn't switch base computers. So it's kind of you have to check it. So if you look here and you go to move your Corvette, I can see that there's a floor panel attached next to the Corvette room. So I know that that is attached. I'm going to, cancel my move Corvette so that we stay in our, our scaffold and our setup. And that's basically how you do the glitch. And see how, it was actually really easy. I did it, took me 2 times. Like any other glitch, you're going to have your good days and your bad days. Now, this is where things get a little complicated and why you need to think about what you're doing a little bit. All right? So, now say you want to build, a wall in the middle of that floor you just placed. The problem ends up being that because that floor is now a Corvette piece. Ooh. You can still do it, but the chances of it, you not getting it, if there's anything where your cursor is looking at a Corvette piece, you're not going to be able to get to that wire connector and keep it green stated without it switching to the Corvette. You need to be able to stay with that piece in wire cache while moving it to the wire. Does that make sense? Yeah, Gary, vanilla wise, because I don't think Beeble was using it, but he tested it, and because anyone who was in Beeble's stream that night, I was like, I don't know if this is a new thing, Beeble, let me know, and I saw him watching it, and then I saw his face go like this, and I'm like, it's new. Because it allows you to do the cache pin glitch and a few other things, that you couldn't necessarily do before with the standard hard and soft transfer. All right. Remember, live stream, not a tutorial. This is how I get my practice by pre-releasing to the, the public and then making a tutorial. So now I could technically if I wanted to, because I can get to that. Oh, almost. You see what I mean by it's finicky anyway, even if you're doing it the other way. You're going to see that jump every once in a while. Yeah, see how it touched and was on the Corvette base, and now it's on the base, it switched to the base computer. Well, we're going to be doing something like that right now, Dupzor. Because I'm going to be adding some freighter components and see what happens. So far, single room has been fine. We'll see what happens when we start adding a bit more. Dark Lord Zelric had been experimenting with it as well, and he did, like, I want to say 3 glass corridors. So far, it's been okay. Now again, you do have, this is something you need to want to do. If that makes sense, right? There it is. Okay, so now that's part of my Corvette. So now, if we go and we take a look, we can see that that is going to move with our Corvette. Well, Pharaoh, you should have tried. Then I wouldn't have had to twist my thumbs off in the beginning. Trying to get the damn timing right. It is a timing thing, but it definitely works. All right, so now you have that, and you could put a wall. Now you actually have this section here, right? Right. This you can't. This will be a hab. Once we leave here, this will be a hab that will inhabit that space, or some light floors which you could then cover with something, because everything I've tried, I cannot get something in here. And this is why you want to use the wires, so you can kind of give yourself some room for your scaffold, and you kind of need it to do the immediate transfer. So also, in order to color this properly, I believe you need to be actually in the space station. I could be wrong about that, but it does switch for some weird reason. Alright, so if you don't want that stuff there, now you do need to bring yourself back to the space station. And delete it there. Alright. Good way to do a little Kiwi Pirate. Good to see you. Little color transfer, which you could then... I wonder if you could copy that when you're down on the settlement. Or if it's a Corvette part and it won't register. That's interesting, though. Doesn't take on the texture. At least it didn't seem to. Oh, it did, okay. Except for some of them. Well, that's interesting. Alright, we're gonna get this stuff out of our way. So we can start with a fresh edit. Double tap. What's going on? And she probably was. Alright, so now we're back at our setup. Now, if you watch Beeble's tutorial on how to center your floor panel properly, there's a top, mid, and bottom floor panel, which is also really great. You could also use that to your advantage. Alright, so let's get back to adding some freighter rooms. This is where it becomes not so fun. And I've noticed I kind of need to clear the cache before I do anything here. Alright, so I want to start with the door. Alright. And there's a reason. Because once you put that freighter room in there, you can't get at your electrical connector. It's too thick. Unlike the floor, which you can kind of get to, you know, because it's so thin, the freighter room's base is so thick that it covers up the wire, and I can't get to it. So it's standard, you know, you're going to do your standard cache pin. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our center point. Figure out where our center point is. We know that's our main cuboid. Then the next wire point over is our next cuboid, which is also your door or window, right? When you're doing the cuboid setup for freighter parts. So, I got a bulkhead door. I'm editing the base computer. Switch it to the wire. I'm going to come out to this wire here. And I'm going to hopefully get the transfer. The only way to know with this door, unfortunately, is to not hit your save button, because that can mess you up big time. And actually, I probably should have done the save ahead of time, but we didn't. Whatever. Because now you want to go and move your Corvette and see if the door is actually attached. If it is not, you're kind of screwed, because you now have to build the freighter room, which you can just wire glitch at that point because it's part of your base computer, and then delete it. It's not a huge deal, but it is still sort of a pain in the backside. Perfect. We're right back here where we started. I like that. That means we can do a save down there and start fresh. And let me know if anything is too loud, the game audio in comparison. All right, back up here. All right, so we missed the door. And when I come back in, I want to build something, delete it. Hey, Andre Vandal, welcome. We're going to save it, and now we have a nice hard save right here. Okay, now we got to go into our catalog and guide, building parts, freighter, door. And then we will bulkhead door, wire, and you just keep doing this until you hopefully get it. Do not save immediately. Check. We still have not got it. Okay. And now we'll reload our restore point. This is the real difficult part, is this and the windows, because you can't see those either. The only way to know that one is to grab a freighter room and just red state it to see if it pops in, unfortunately. And then again, you have to, go through this whole rigmarole. And see how we reloaded and it didn't pick up that part. So you really need to clear the cache every time. It's very important. Even if you reload, you need to clear the cache by building something, then pinning the product. Now we see that. Okay. We're going to put our door on. Check and see if we got it. We still have not got it. Once you get the doors and the windows seem kind of difficult for some reason. I don't know why. The timing seems to be different. But we'll get there, I promise. This is, this is a new glitch. There is timing things. It does work. We've proven it. It is so far the best way I've found to get accurate freighter parts on your Corvette. So we reloaded, which means we now have to build and delete something before we can go to our catalog. Grab the door. I find whenever I'm doing this by myself, no problem. If I got people watching and I'm trying to explain it for some reason, forget about it. And it's just quicker to reload than it is to try to... I mean, you could... Actually, you know what? I wonder if it is quicker. Probably not. I think we can just... No, because you still have to go through the whole routine. It's about the same amount of time. So, the window and the door I found to be really finicky. Every other part seems to work just fine. It is the streamer's curse, Farrah. You are correct. And you are 100% correct on that, Kiwi. This community freaking kicks ass. So we'll start off by switching base computers, building something real quick, deleting it, grab our catalog, do all the routine here, right? I mean, in some ways, it's not a bad thing that this happens, because then you can see the routine of what needs to happen. That happens on occasion, which is always weird. I'm wondering if that's actually stuck there like that. It is not. Okay, good. Yeah, hold on. You know what? I think we need some nip-nip.
All right.
I might get flagged for one of these. I forget which one it is.
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this? Who? Jack Burton.
Sorry about that. Still trying to make my audio adjustments. Get my audio right. Nice. All right, clean slate again. Here we go. This is a pain. I get it. But oddly enough, it seems like the platforms and rooms go on easier. The doors and windows are, let's call it finicky. Yeah, Pharaoh. Probably macro would work better. I don't know how to deal with macros. I am still new to the PC world, even though I built a pretty kick-ass PC, and I'm learning, you know. I'm learning. Come on, you. Give it to me. Damn you. How many times did I have to do it last time? That makes sense, Farrah. That makes a ton of sense. Come on. Please. No? Well, you know, it is one of those things, you know. You just kind of have to deal with it, my friend. If you want something done, and again, for some reason, the windows and the doors, they don't. The timing is different, and I can't quite figure out what is so different about it. Yes, you can't with the door, because the door is not really there. Same with the window. The window you don't see at all. So right now I'm looking through the door and I'm touching the wire. So it's just, you know, it's telling me I'm on that. And if I grab a pill light here with the door, it's sensing the wire, not the door. See? So the only way to see if I've attached the door is actually to go and move the ship, and if it's not moving with the ship, it hasn't attached. So, as much of a hassle. Once the door's there, everything else should go by quicker. At least I hope. Alright, we're going to AFK for a second here. But I could, like, a wall, the floor, those go in, for some reason the timing is different and seem to go in a lot easier. Let's try this yet again.
All right.
I should have waited on that one. But I like it. It's fun. Alright, so. Excuse me. Damn it! Not freaking easy. And I don't know why that happens every once in a while. I'm telling you, I'll do a wall. For some reason, the timing with the walls and floors, there's a difference. I don't know why. I can't explain it. Alright, you know what? I want to see something here. I mean, we have proof of it. I had it up on the... No. I want that door there. That door's going there, damn it. It's happening. How am I usually sitting when I get this? There it is. All right, now we save. All right. This one's sort of a pain, and the reason being is you can't see it at all, so you don't know if you've even built it or not. Alright, I build something. Whether or not it's attached to the Corvette or not. Now, is this work? Yeah. Is it worth it in the long run? Yeah, who knows? Hopefully somebody will take this idea and find something that works better. And now we'll just grab a freighter room, whatever we want. And we will check to see if we have a window, which we do. Now, there's no way to truly tell, unfortunately, because if I build this here, attached to the Corvette, which will keep that. I wonder if I could just, yeah, I should be able to delete the window up there. But I can't delete the room without ending up deleting the Corvette part. Alright, let's do a save, because at least the window's there. And if we have to, I can build the room and then we can delete it. Okay. So I'll know immediately whether or not, because I can just do a standard wire glitch here. I hope. Okay, now I know that that window is attached to the Corvette. Now, if I delete this, our door is still there, which really matters. And our window is still there. Alright? Because it wasn't attached to the same thing. Perfect. Okay. Now, you can avoid all this by using glass corridors, and still have a nice open area that you can work in. But this is nice because it feels more open. Not these claustrophobic rooms. Pharaoh, yes, I know, and I have my wires are spaced accordingly. If you were in earlier, you would have seen me explain how I did the cuboid to wire, scaffold, which, if you're comfortable with glitching, you know. Alright, so we have a door, we have a window. Now we want another window on the other side. And the nice thing about working out in this direction is you're now away from there, so you can work a lot more freely. It's when you start adding in the bigger parts that it becomes sort of an issue. Well, Dark Lord, everyone thinks about things in a different way, and when I watch one person do something like that, that's neat, but what if I did it like this? Would that make a difference? It's all community. It's all of our brains mushing together. Alright, so see if we can't add this window. I didn't hear the build sound. That's what I thought. Okay. You just want to make sure that you're not, you can still switch between your base computers. Okay, I heard a build. It looks like it switched over. I think we're good here. And now we could keep this area open for that, you know what I mean? Like, now we know that's there, and once we make a save, we can now add to those wire areas if we wanted to. We could continue to use that wire snap point to add more things, like a wall, a floor, whatever. A platform, build off of that. And you can, pull another wire from that in order to extend the cuboid out left or right, forward, back, top and bottom, all around. All right. So we got a window. We're going to test to see if page computer. I'm pretty sure we got it, but we'll test to make sure before we hit save. That way we don't, you know, blah, blah, blah. Gotta be kind of extra careful. Yep, we got our window. Nice. Okay. I mean, you could further test, actually, which is probably a better idea, is to just simply wire glitch this in without doing the transfer. And then if the window shows up, it's attached to the base computer, not the Corvette. And then you can delete that. And then, just to be on the safe side, clear your cache, which will also let you grab another part when you're ready. Just make sure you didn't delete anything. We didn't, we're good. Alright, now we'll do a save. Hey Ashley, welcome. So now you know that this area is set up for your freighter room, whatever one you choose, which you'll now go to the middle connector. And then we would decide, all right, do we want another freighter room? Do we want a walkway? It would be the same, you would set it up cuboid style, and then wherever that freighter stair would be, you know, you would make the wire using the cuboid setup. You know what I'm saying? I haven't gotten to stairs yet. We're still trying to make sure we can get things put in, you know, without... because you get around some of this, it gets a little interesting. You have to kind of be above. And I think I'm going to have to probably move this at some point. But we'll see. Alright, so now we want to figure out what we want to do next. Do we want to put in a platform? Do we want to put in... I'm not messing with stairs. You know, what room do we want? Do we want something empty we can, you know, build our own little thing with? Which is kind of what I'm thinking, but at the same time, kind of want to see what it's like with the weapons terminal room. But the cultivation room would be neat. But, you know, the whole point is to kind of give myself a little more room. So, let's go with a technology expansion. Exactly, Pharaoh. Same with the walkways. You know, just even though you just use part of it, you know how it works. And they light. They have their own little bit of light. What am I doing? Catalog and guide. What do we want to do next? We're going to need a door, right? On the other side, unless we attach another room, which is what I think we should do. Alright. Let's attach the room. Just you have to figure out, do I want anything else here before I do that? You know, do I want something I can't put in normally? In the middle of all of this. And then you can do the other transfer glitch, you know. I do want to attach this to the front of one of the ships and see if it acts as a beacon for the hotspot. And you know, all the deco we can pretty much do, right? You can do fish tanks and stuff. What about these characters? Yeah. I know some of this doesn't go on Corvette. I do remember that. But some of it does. Alright. Let's stick with the theme we got going on here. We'll do freighter bits. We'll connect a floor after. I'm actually going to do a circular build with this method. We'll see what happens. Alright, let's get that freighter room in here, shall we? Yeah, that would be nice. Oh, the other thing with the windows and doors, you got to make sure that your connectors are flat to match the doors, otherwise you're going to be fighting. Alright, see, that was a wire. Unfortunately, now I do need to clear and do it again because it did build. But this is the same kind of BS that we deal with when just trying to do a standard cash pin glitch. Please don't. If we have to, we'll reload, right? And I don't know why it does that weird flip-a-doo. Oh, that's why. Nope. Damn it. I know. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, you know, people had put the warning out, everyone's put the warning out. It's out there. Use this at your discretion, and please think of other players. You know, I will repeat it throughout and right at the end. We freaking get it? We got it. Yes. Alright, save. So now we should have now what we can also do. Now here, the one downside with this is the stairs and that little bit of railing that I can't, you know, attach anything to because it's in the central part. So here we can add in a floor, or, you know, we could have brought all this in as well, you know, if we wanted to. We could have brought that a little closer. But we could probably figure out a way to just work with the halves or something, you know, to connect over the middle portion. Because this dead zone is, you know, kind of difficult to work with. Alright, so we know that this is our middle. But see how now... Oh, really? Because I'm following the wire. That's good to know. Alright, so if I'm staying on and I'm following this collision bubble over, my chances of hitting that, and see we're able to switch through too, right there, so well, that's a little treacherous. Alright, let's put another room in. Oh wait, we need windows first. Or do we want to do a hallway? A corridor. Or a doorway to a platform. The only thing is I need to figure out how to get myself into We'll get into that later. I believe so, Pharaoh, but I'm not sure. I forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah, window. I'm just gonna shut my big trap for a little bit. We can test it. Wait a minute. I think I'm... No, I'm not screwing up. I think that's base computer. No way for me to really tell, though, without building. Alright, let's build. Alright, not base computer, not base computer. Perfect. May have gotten our windows in. So now we'll throw in the weapons terminal. I had to delete that wire. At least the bonus with this part is you don't have to keep reloading. It's that door, you know, that kind of stuff. Because the door, you know, the door and the windows you can't delete. And we got lucky with this one in getting both of those windows in place. There we go. Boop, boop. All right, so now when we fly away, And I'm sure if we put the cockpit in, and I'm wondering if we move the cockpit over, if that will center the camera.